Hi, this is Jim Phillips with Remember Veteran Grave Markers. Let me answer a question that was posed to me. The question was, how long does it take you to clean a grave? Well, I really don't clean graves as much as I clean headstones or grave markers. Now, let me give you a quick tutorial here. A headstone is an upright marker, and a grave marker is a flat marker. You'll see them in the picture as we'll show here. So I clean headstones and grave markers. So let's talk headstones first. With headstones, it's a matter of taking time to trim around the stone, and then with soap and water, cleaning the headstone, and then using a chemical, an anti-biological solution called D2 or wet and forget. Use that on the stone. Total time on touch time for that is probably 20 to 30 minutes. So really, once they get in there, 20 to 30 minutes. Now, if it's particularly nasty, it may be longer, and if it's not as nasty, it'll be less. So I use the gauge would be 20 to 30 minutes. Now, I said, well, that's not too bad. I said, well, that's not all I do. So let's kind of back up a little bit. Before I start any project, I have to reach out to the cemetery and get approval to do that. Well, fortunately for me, I have approval to work at many of the cemeteries in Lucas County. So that hurdle has already been done. But the next step would be scouting out headstones or grave markers that I'm going to work at. So I'm going to I'm going to travel around there. And that may be a non-cleaning day, but it'll be a day focused on which ones I'm going to do work on. Which ones will be amenable for videos. So I can set up my video equipment and watch, have me do the cleaning so you can see that. So you're talking about maybe add another half hour to that. So now we've got a half hour of prep time, an hour of 30 minutes of cleaning time. Now we've got an hour into it. But that's not it. That's not all. I then go back, because I'll take pictures of these things as I go, is to document the improvement. Now the documenting improvement doesn't stop after I apply the wet and forget or D2. I go back a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, possibly even 2 months later to see the progress and see if the D2 is working, so that I can show you what the outcome is of the work that you've done. Oftentimes when you clean something, it's not going to look the way that you want it to right away, because it takes time for the wet and forget or D2 to work, on the biologicals on the stone. So you need to be mindful of that. So at this point, I've gone from a half hour of working to now an hour to now you could probably add another 45 minutes to an hour. So now that's 2 hours per headstone. Now that doesn't include, and I don't videotape all of them, but I don't necessarily videotape for purposes of production all of my content. I save that for historical information. But for you, I will show you the videos that I do so the ones that are most exciting or the most pronounced or the most interesting, you get to see those. So that becomes extremely important. So those things might be a real dirty stone becomes really clean. That's kind of a wow. A headstone that once clean, you figure out this person is pretty darn interesting. That's a wow. Or they're just interesting in at the beginning. So you have another half hour to maybe an hour per those stones. So you just add up to in the end for an upright stone anywhere between an hour and a half to 3 hours per stone. Now, not everyone is going to get a 3-hour workup, but some do, and that takes time. See, creation of videos doesn't happen, overnight. Narrating them and orchestrating all that doesn't really happen quite quickly. The more important thing, perhaps, apart from the upright stones, which I have a great love for, are the flat stones, the grave markers. Now, the grave markers, there's a higher preponderance of grave markers out there for veterans than there are headstones. And the reason for that is that most of these cemeteries require flat headstones so that the mowers can go through there. It's a simple, practical thing that they want. They want flat headstones, whether they're made out of stone or made out of bronze. That's what they're asking. So for you, you're going to be looking at that. My hope is, and what I normally do, is that when I work on flat grave markers, is that I will trim around the edge, create an edge around the stone. If it's, I'll clean it with soap and water. And if it appears to have biological growth on the stone, I'll apply D2. I might not, but I just might if it appears that that's there. Once that's done, I will let it sit, and I'll come back later. The same effort that I would put into an upright headstone, I would put into a flat one. But the flat one it is a little bit easier, apart from just having to trim around it a little bit more vigorously. So these are the two things you need to do. So when you're asked, well, how long does it take? So the response would be, well, as long as it's necessary. But I think a good rule of thumb is per headstone, initially about 30 minutes. But if you look at it in the total, if you're going to do the work that I do or complete work that I pursue, is that it may take you up 2 hours to 3 hours on a particular stone, depending on the interest of that stone. And the same thing would hold true for a flat grave marker. I hope that helps out. Pictures are going to be here as well. So please take a look at that. It's a great time to start pondering what you're going to do in the future. Grave markers need just as much care and attention as the upright headstones do. And frankly, there's places like Toledo Memorial Park that has a number of flat headstone or flat grave markers that need your attention. So there are a lot out there that it's easy for you to work on, and it's not as difficult as it is an upright headstone, but it's necessary nonetheless. Besides, if you're going to preserve, honor, and remember our veterans, what better way to do it than to work on the ones that are easily available and most easily worked on. All right? Having said that, this is Jim Phillips with Remember Veteran Grave Markers. Hey, thanks a lot for supporting us this past year. I look forward to 2025 as being a banner year for us. Take care, God bless, and happy holidays. This is Jim Phillips again. Hey, remember, like, subscribe, share, and comment on the videos. That's extremely important as we get the word out here in Lucas County on what we need. So, again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, and so on. Take care.